Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the Champions Cup. Now, after last night's fixture, we did see one South African side confirm their spot in the Champions Cup round of 16. This is an opportunity here for the Sharks. If results go their way, they theoretically can also be through to that round of 16, but more than likely a Challenge Cup on the line here for the Sharks side, and that is a competition that we have actually seen the Sharks win in a previous year. Looking through at the way the table sits at the moment for this group, as you can see, Glasgow are at the top of the bunch with the 15 points. They have won all three of their games of the Champions Cup pool stages. Sale Sharks, they are sitting on 11 after their win last week over the other Sharks side. And then Saracens and Toulouse, 10 points and 7. And then there is the Sharks. Now, theoretically, if they are able to beat Clermont here, they will move up into 4th. And then that all depends on what we see between Sale and Toulouse as to whether if Sale can somehow cause a massive upset, they would actually knock Toulouse out of this competition, which would be huge because they are normally right near the end and also have won the championship in the past before. But this Sharks side, it is a mixture. A few Springboks featuring in this one, but I believe a lot more are being saved for that game next week. There is a South African derby on the horizon up against the Stormers. They are also in action a little bit later on tonight. They're playing the Leicester Tigers, and they too are heavy favourites heading into that matchup. And looking through at the starting lineup, it is Oxenshare in the front row, Bongyo Manambi and Hanroy Jacobs starting in at 3. So Umbanambi, of course, that Springbok hooker option. Same with Oxenshare in the props. So a lot of power up front. Now, they do also have Vincent Koch making his way off of the bench in this contest. So I do think that the scrums of the Sharks should be relatively stable throughout this contest. Corne Ral alongside Jason Jenkins in the locking duo. Matt Ramal in the number 6 jersey. Emmanuel Tuchuka, who's been in some insane try-scoring form at this point. He is there at 7. And Nick Haddon will captain the side. He slots in as the number 8. Jordan and Jaden, the Hendrickse brothers, they are in the 9 and 10 jerseys for this matchup. Sabali out on the left wing, so no like a Makazoli Mapimpi in this contest. They've actually got a little bit of a change in this backline compared to what we have seen in some of the past matches. No Andre Estes in this contest either. And then in the midfield, Lorenzo Julius, he is playing at 12 with Leroux Milan as the number 13. He is the Namibian international. Yapinke as the 14 and Apelele Fasi starting in at number 15. So that is the starting lineup for the Sharks. Like I mentioned, a few handy players making their way off the bench in this contest too. The likes of a Pepsi Buthelezi, who has been a bit of an impact guy when needed. And then you look through at this Clermont side. It's definitely not their strongest team. There are certain players missing. There is no Raka for this game. Marcos Kremer actually absent from this match as well, unfortunately, as he would have been a great player to watch on South African soil. But you look through, there's still enough talent there. And I compare this Clermont side a little bit to the La Rochelle team that the Stormers sent over, that they sent over to face the Stormers about a month and a half ago. It was somewhere around there that we saw La Rochelle lose 42 points to 21. It's a developmental team, the guys who don't get a huge amount of opportunity throughout the top 14 competition, where Clermont currently sit not too badly, but this is now not the priority game for Clermont. Best case scenario here, like I mentioned, if they somehow get the win, still not enough. They would have to win this contest by about 16 points just to even have half a sniff of being able to get into that Challenge Cup position. It's 28 degrees Celsius in South Africa, 13 kilometres of wind. It's going to be a tough one for this Clermont side, but it's good news for the Sharks because theoretically that should start a little bit of momentum as they head into that next game of the URC, which is just around the corner. But looking through at the comments, we have got there Fear the Finn from Laliology in there as well, and come on the Sharks. And also we've got there, so this game starts before the proper game between Stormers and Leicester Tigers. And so this Leicester Tigers starts at 5:15 local time. The minor happening is sooner, I see, says Bruce. Although they could actually meet each other in the near future, depending on how the Stormers go in that game. If the Leicester Tigers were somehow able to pull off an upset, they would knock the Stormers out of the Champions Cup. So you better hope that doesn't happen, or you have a lot of Sharks fans ripping into you, I'm sure. We have got their Behave Bruce. It's rugby day, and we're all participation regardless of skill level on here, says Jimbo. And how's it, Hamish? Hope you're well. I am excited. Although I do have to say, not as excited as if these two matches had best sides for both teams. This one, like I mentioned, it's a bit more of a change upside from the Sharks, but they knew that they would be able to do that because Clermont were not going to be sending their strongest side when there are crucial points of the top 14 next week. Now, if they were from South Africa, they would have got a huge amount of stick for it on social media for disrespecting the Champions Cup, whereas when a French side does it, apparently it's completely fine. But in this case, I do think that there were certainly players that could have played for Clermont here, but it's a long way to go to then have to play next week in the top 14 back up in the north. We have got there, don't care if the Sharks win, they've already failed too badly, says Titanium, although it is important that they get a victory here just to make it look a little bit better, but they will still more than likely finish in the Challenge Cup, so they will be through to the round of 16 in that competition. I just hope the Sharks have their teeth in today. No toothless Sharks, says Jan. And also, Storm is only interested in the URC, says Martin. And when I see Jaden Hendrickson on the team sheet, I know the Sharks don't take a match seriously. He's an interesting player, isn't he? Jaden Hendrickson, because only, I would say maybe 2 years ago might be a bit of a stretch, but there was a time where he was considered as a really bright prospect for the Springboks. But then he had that season where he was a bit lackluster. The Sharks, he was supposed to be one of the big talents there. But it seems like he didn't quite get that same momentum that they expected to see. Can I ask a question, says Mohadin? You can. I can guarantee you this either involves Andre Pollard or probably Rassi Erasmus for this question, but absolutely go for it, Mohadin. And I bet it's going to be even windier in Cape Town today. It's picking up now, says Bruce. Yeah, so that could bring a little bit of an equaling factor to the two teams. And you're also not a fan of Jaden. I prefer Williams. And that's the other tricky part. Because of the fact that there's someone called Grant Williams in the mix for the Springbok halfback department, as well as Cobus Reinach finding some great form in the later years of his career, it just means that there's not a lot of need for a young Jaden Hendrickson in that Springbok environment at the moment. Jaden shouldn't have even been a box-loaded delivery and looks like he isn't too interested. That's the other part of it, I think. The fact that he just... I don't know, he's got one of the most, I don't even know how to describe it, one of the most stagnant faces in terms of there's no panic, which is good in a way, but also there's no urgency in the way that he sometimes plays. And I think that really annoys people, mainly Shark supporters, with the fact that there's a breakdown there. They know that someone has to get to it, a bit similar to what some people feel about someone like a Finlay Christie in New Zealand. If Sia are still playing for the Sharks because he don't play anymore, he is still in the Sharks team. He's just not playing for this match. He will be playing more than likely in the derby next week, though, up against the side that he is going to for next season. We've got a little bit of a nice head-to-head that will be taking place. 2 test matches between the sides, the Stormers and the Sharks. It's not really a test match, but it will bloody well feel like it when those two sides take to the field. It's going to be absolutely awesome to see. And then the best thing is, we get to see it again the week after, just before the Six Nations too. So a nice little South African derby run. And I think we actually get to see the Lions in a South African derby in the relatively near future too. So it is going to be a great time. You love watching those South African sides play each other. We'll also mention during the time that this match is taking place, there are also matches of the sevens going on. Samoa were playing Poland the last time that I saw, and Poland were winning that game comfortably. That was in the women's game. South Africa at the moment, they are top of their women's pool. So that is great news, and we'll hopefully book them a spot to the championship a little bit later on in the season. But we'll keep you updated on what is happening for those contests as well. A lot of different sides taking part in that one. Madagascar there. We see Hong Kong, China, Colombia, Belgium, Canada, all taking part in those contests too. But do let me know your score predictions for this one, ladies and gentlemen. G'day, Hamish and everyone. Welcome in, Thuds Race. Hope you're doing well. And we have got there, I hope Sasha don't miss. Today it's a bit too much. And we have got there Bumtree available for the Kiwis now, says Titanium. And who's the new coach for the ABs? The rumour mill is saying that it is Jamie Joseph. Sevens on New Zealand TV. It is on Rugby Pass TV for free, which is great news. Argentina versus Colombia has just kicked off. There's some really talented players in that Argentine team. More than likely, the final in the women's side of things should be Argentina versus South Africa, which we actually saw, I believe, last year in the Seven Circuit. I fancy Clermont. Oh, see, that's a bold one because they haven't gone with their strongest team. So that would be referring to the fact that the Sharks are probably not going to do their best in this contest. G'day, Hamish and chat. What a great weekend so far. Hey, no, that was a thriller, that match between Poe and the Bulls, that is for sure. We have got there, Hamish, have you received any offers to anchor rugby shows for an established network, a super professional? I have not. I don't think they'd trust me on a live broadcast, even though I do so many live streams for this, but I feel like every once in a while I probably say something that you're like, he could be cancelled, he may not be. But maybe one day we'll get to go on one of those shows. Hi, Hamish, is the Six Nations a big thing in New Zealand? Depends on who you talk to. For me, I will be up watching every single game, commentating every single one of them too. But for some Kiwis, they like to watch the highlights, or they will just get up and watch the replays in the morning. That is actually quite a common thing. But yeah, it just depends on how mad they are about their rugby, really. Please not Plumtree, seems a decent bloke, but please not Plumtree. They're just showing there 28 degrees Celsius at the Durban Stadium for this contest, and the pool is out by the looks of it, which is fantastic to see. What does the rugby club in series look like for South Africa? What does rugby club in series? Club in series. I'm reading that, and my brain is processing it. Rugby club in series. Is that, so you're not talking about the South African tour, are you? You're talking about just in general in terms of where they are sitting in the URC table. I actually have the table here, if that is what you're asking. At the moment, the Stormers are sitting top of the log on 36 points for the Sharks. They are sitting way down in 14th on 14 points. There's a lot of ground to be made up, but if they do manage to beat the Stormers next week, they have the opportunity to go as high as 8th place. So that is why we've seen a little bit more of an experimental team here compared to just full-on strength, because they do know that they need those bot players raring to go for the next contest. And hello H, sorry about Razor. Time for a new adventure, says Sharks. And then, I'm very intrigued to see what does happen in the near future for the ABs. It definitely hasn't helped the bank account of New Zealand Rugby, I will say that. Although, by the sounds of it, they're not paying out Razor. And also, they're not allowing him to coach any other Tier 1 nation for the next year. So he must have got the bad end of that deal with the fact that he's not getting money and he's also not allowed to coach a top side. So I'm not sure what his plan will be now. Other sports taken away from New Zealand Rugby, says Titanium. Maybe a little bit. I think it's just rugby, believe it or not, for a sport that used to be absolutely followed by everyone in New Zealand, or at least it felt that way. I think that other sports have kind of just caught up in terms of interest. Like a lot more people playing football, a lot of people playing basketball now here in New Zealand, which didn't really take off until more recently. Rugby league started getting a few more numbers in terms of sport as well. And AB's going to get smashed in South Africa, and the Bulls lose next week. They are out, or are they out? So they will not be out, because that is the URC that they will be playing next week. In terms of the Champions Cup round of 16, though, if they were to lose those games, they would be out of the competition. A few years ago, I went to the New Zealand TAB to place a Six Nations bet. People at the counter didn't know England was playing Scotland. It's scary how little rugby is being followed here now, says Studs Race. But yeah, I would say, if I had to guess, right, for these type of matches, Sharks versus Clermont, as well as Stormers versus Leicester Tigers, I would say, unless you have a horse in the race per se, or you just really love rugby, I don't want to speculate, but I would say, because of the fact it's also no longer on Sky, I don't even know if 1,000 people in New Zealand would have an EPCR TV subscription for this season. There's probably even less than that, because of the fact that it's kind of more niche to be able to find these games now. If you love your rugby, you'll watch these games, but you're probably more likely to watch the highlights on YouTube. It's just much easier to find. But we will put the scoreboard up. We're ready to go. Christoph Ridley, the man in charge of this contest. I did quite enjoy before the game. They accidentally had the commentators' microphones on. So both of them were doing their sound checks. And one of them did mention that Christoph Ridley was the referee. One of the other ones at the same time was listing the team. So it was a bit of a muddled mess, but it was quite enjoyable to listen to, just to hear the behind the scenes of what happens. But the 3-2-1 count is on. And we're ready to go for this game. Do let me know your score predictions if you haven't already. But it's kicked off by Jordan Hendrickse to get what should be a one-sided game underway. You just never know. Nicely taken by Yapinka, and already the Sharks have retained possession off of their own kickoff. Now, 28 degrees Celsius is going to be a hot old day, and that is going to make it difficult for these two sides to keep a tempo for the full 80. Jaden Hendrickse has the ball in hand after the first penalty is awarded to the Sharks 15 seconds into the game, but no clear rolling away from the Clermont side there. And January 2026, Hamish says, "Good story, Sharks. How many people follow Super Rugby from the other side? It's about where interests lie," says Titanium. There seems to be still a few that watch Super Rugby overseas. It just depends on where the licenses are as well. Like, if it's on, let's just say, for instance, if Super Rugby is on Super Sport in South Africa, a lot more people are going to watch that than the Champions Cup here in New Zealand, and also the URC here in New Zealand, where you have to buy a separate subscription from what you already pay for Sky. And it's actually quite an expensive sport to follow at the moment because you need about 3 or 4 different subscription services to just cover a regular season. Advantage in favour of the Sharks, going for the rolling maul. Here's Jordan Hendrickse breaking off the back, Lorenzo Julius. A dangerous option. I do think he prefers that number 13 jersey over 12, but I'm sure he'll be happy enough to even just be in the team. He has been fighting for minutes throughout recent times, definitely with the likes of an Andre Esterhuizen back in the mix now for the Sharks in the centre. Peering now, Jaden Hendrickse goes back across. They're currently 10 metres out from the line. Matt Rameau. And another advantage here. It's now the third advantage, I believe, in only the first 100 seconds of this game. So Clermont, they will have to watch their discipline. Jaden Hendrickse goes for the kick behind. It's taken by Apalele Fasi. He puts the ball down. And the Sharks score already in 2 minutes. He is doing the blocking out the crowd signal there, or at least I assume that's blocking out the haters, actually, because he's in front of his home crowd, so surely that would get you in trouble. And Sharks by 21 enough. Hard to say. I actually think that if they play well here, they could be looking at like 30 to 40 if they really find the rhythm. Could you maybe keep us updated on the Ulster game, please, says Hayno. 1 second. Go like that. Ulster, they are playing Stade Francais at the moment. If I refresh this tab, I'll be able to get that one up as well. I've also got Argentina versus Colombia going in the women's game, currently 14-0. In favour of the Argentines. I'm really pumping out my Wi-Fi today, including the streaming as well. We have got the I don't pay, just stream. Says Titanium, miss Super Rugby. And the 19's waking up at 4 a.m. to watch the Natal Sharks take on the Yak Brumbies, says the real boy. Yeah, see, a lot of people, I think, just miss those old school Super Rugby days. At the moment, Ulster versus... Wow, Ulster have already scored. They are up 7-0 up against Stade Francais. Now, of course, at the moment, we also see that the Sharks are leading. And we have got the arm going for a Clermont win. Says George, and thanks for the commentary. Busy with the stock take. Says Dennis, well, hopefully it is all going well, and hopefully it isn't a massive building that you are stock taking for. I know that can take hours and hours, depending on what you're doing. But now, a great start to this match for the Sharks. So hopefully that is a bit of good news for the start of... Or actually, you'll be midway through the day, maybe. In South Africa, about 3 p.m, but that one's going to be kicked into touch by Apalele Fasi. A good start to this match. Any thoughts on Razor's removal? I think that the original plan should have been for them to only lock him in for 2 years rather than the 4, and it would have saved a lot of money. Now, by the sounds of it, he's not getting a lot out of the deal of him getting sacked as All Blacks coach. They have mentioned that they're not paying him out any money, or at least not a huge amount. That's going to be a penalty to Clermont, playing the arm of the line out, so the penalty will be awarded for the away side. Who's kicking for the Sharks? It is Jaden Hendrickse in charge of the kicking tee today. Oh, sorry, Jordan Hendrickse. And wake up, Hamish, it's the 90s. Says Cool Story Sharks. And Afternoon Sharkies says Jimbo, welcome in. And also we have got their man, so happy Ox and Upper Lilius back. Sort out these niggles over the ABs get here. It is going to be tough, says Sharks. Yeah, it's going to be a very intriguing tour now because a lot of people were talking about whether or not Razor on his first big South African tour can get the job done. And there were doubts, but now it's going to be a whole new coach who has to go into South Africa and hope for the best. And if he loses the series, then where does that leave him? No payment and restricted trade, says Samuel. Well, he's restricted. He's not allowed to coach a tier 1 side. Oh, is that a knockdown from Sabale? Okay, it's just called as a knock-on. Had it been a deliberate knockdown, he would have been looking probably at a yellow card, but it's just going to be a knock-on against him. But yeah, by the sounds of it, he's not getting paid out, but he's restricted and he's not allowed to coach any other tier 1 nation for 12 months. He's allowed to coach tier 2, and he's allowed to coach in like franchise rugby, but not international tier 1 teams. Hamish, I don't think the All Blacks have the quality of class of 2011 till 2015. They absolutely don't. Which I think is the tricky reality check for a lot of people at the moment, is the fact that currently maybe the stocks aren't as deep as they used to be. Like, we've got to remember, that team was incredible during that time. Afternoon, mate. Are these both B and C team mix? Yeah, I'd say. See, I'm not the biggest fan of the B team, C team, A team scale, but if we had to do the comparison, I would say this is Sharks B versus Clermont C in this contest. Alistair Coetzee, defence coach for the All Blacks. CA's cool story. It'll be interesting to see who they end up bringing in. Nice offload there. Also no Batista Delgui in this match either here, or Peter Gus Soakula. They've actually got a lot of players that are missing from the mix for this match, Clermont. Well, it is a young opportunity, or a side that would be looking for an opportunity here to try and build themselves into some minutes throughout the top 14. Currently sitting about 7 metres out from the line for Clermont, breaking off the back. Some experience out there as well, though. For this Clermont side, they got only a metre out before getting dragged down. Tony coming back, that is once again the rumour, but that's going to cost a lot of money. But he was in New Zealand at the time that it happened, so who knows what's going on behind the scenes. Now breaking the line, trying to get the quick hands going. That's a huge shot there from Apalele Fasi, forcing the ball into touch. Ure Simoni just delaying his pass a little bit. Delgi lipped off last week, says Jimbo. Yeah, they are missing quite a few. Like, I didn't even mention Marcos Crema in that department either for other Argentines internationals that they haven't got available for this game. Our Razors being talked about in the English Premiership. Yeah, the Harlequins seem to be the rumour at the moment. We have got their thoughts on Nick Hannon being captain ahead of Bongi or Jaden. I don't mind it. Hannon seems like he's a decent enough leader. Now, of course, he probably, like, I would say out of those two, Bongi would be the guy that I would have as captain. I don't think, oh, that's such an ugly landing for Yapinka. He just landed on the back of his neck. He's taken the tap quickly, and this actually looks like the referee's going to stop it, for one, to check on Yapinka, and also to check whether or not this is worthy of a yellow card. And look at the colour of your face. You still got the cold, Hamish? Says Joe Man. Or looking at the colour of your face. Is it that it's red or just in general? We have got the Ekin Razor captain, the Springboks, or Rassi. Says Mohodin. I think that, like, that's the one that people are saying, oh, it could happen. Yeah, no, there's a bit of responsibility there for the player who went up for that ball. I think it was, ironically, the man with the last name Fall, and that was an ugly fall for Yapinka. We'll mention in the game taking place in the women's sevens at the moment. Argentina are leading 14 points to 0 over Colombia. Now, I do believe that the Springbok women's side is going to be in action in about 20 minutes' time. We'll keep you updated about what is happening in their game, but currently they are sitting 2 wins from 2 and looking very strong in that competition. We are hoping to cover some of their future games on the channel tomorrow. Okay, the commentator there has said penalty at most, but this sounds like this is a high degree of danger. This might be a red card, or at least a yellow here for the Clermont player, and that is the last thing that they need when they already are missing key players. Yep, played him in the air. It's a 20-minute red card for Fall, so he will not be returning in this match. And Clermont are down to 14. Good luck to our Sharks, says Colleen there. And also we have got there, it's actually genuinely interesting just how much the All Blacks will be starting from scratch for us. 2017 inspired decision, about 2 years out from the World Cup. Says, cool story. Yes, it is an intriguing one, and it's either going to work or it's not. And that's the 50-50. I don't think there's an in-between. It's either going to be a success or a failure. And, you know, New Zealand Rugby, they will have to put most of the eggs in the same basket that they kind of put on Razor a couple years ago. And they'll either have to fully commit to that or they'll have to make another change. But I don't think that will be before the World Cup, or at least it shouldn't be, or else they'll really be just switching. Knock on there from Matt Rameau. A little bit of a mistake there from the number 6, which does bring the scrum for Clermont. Manu Kiwi set a high bar for the ABs. They do. You know, I slightly made I don't know whether I'd call it a joke, but I just kind of made a comment about how, like, one of the reasons they sacked Razor was because he had less than that 100% winning rate that the Kiwis expect of him. But It's that whole thing of the senior players not liking him that gets you kicked out pretty quickly. And it's a bit similar to what we saw for Jake White at the Bulls, in terms of once as they say, once you lose the locker room, you're in trouble. It's kind of the saying that's been going around. But, the Bulls, outside of Jake White, they did have a struggle patch. Now, of course, they also could have lost that game to Poe, but they won it. So that's the first win in quite some time for this Bulls side, and hopefully it's going to be the first of many for them. But currently the ball in the hands of Clermont. Is it really reared, though? It was an ugly landing. I think he could have hit his head a lot worse, Yapinka, in that scenario, but it was definitely at least a yellow. And probably if it was an off-field review, would have been upgraded to a red anyway. Now, it's going to be nicely taken by Apalele Fasi under the high ball. Tackle was completed, so they do have to release him, which took a little while for the Clermont player to be able to do. He was asking the ref whether he was held up. Ref says, no, I told you he was tackled. Now cross kick there from Jordan Hendrickson. Just ends up rolling into touch. Will now be a Clermont line out at the moment. In the Ulster game, it is 7-0 over Stade Francais. And then in the Colombia versus Argentina game, we're actually seeing a bit of a comeback here from Colombia in terms of the possession. But they are still sitting 14-0 down. Or 14-0 down, I should say. And the All Blacks, they dominated when they had coaching continuity. I always butcher that word. Hansen, I was assistant coach for years before he became head coach, cutting coaches quickly, seldom fixes the issue. Look at the Bulls. But good luck to them. Just not too much, eh? I have conspiracy theories on Razor sacking. Do I make a vid? I mean, it'll be met with a mixed review, but they're normally, like the ones that you do about the officiating decisions, they're mixed with or met with mixed reviews anyway, so you might as well. I do love a good conspiracy theory. And there are a few going around at the moment, to be fair. Clermont have decided that they want to kick this ball towards the touchline. They haven't had a huge amount of possession throughout the first 10 and a half minutes of this contest, but that one will be out about 10 metres from the line. Trying to defend that maul there for the Sharks, and eventually just ended up dragging it down. I do see ball was in the hands of Robert Bellacoon there for Ulster's game. They currently sit 15 metres out from Stade Francais' line. Looking forward to the series in Glasgow and Bristol and Bordeaux tomorrow. Says Kahu. Yeah, there are some good games taking place tomorrow. Even La Rochelle versus Harlequins, I am looking forward to what happens there. The sad thing about that Saracens Glasgow game is there is a chance I won't be able to cover it on the channel depending on what time we're pouring concrete in the morning. There's a chance that if it's early enough, I will have to miss that game, sadly. And I will find out probably tomorrow morning earlier on, before that match does get underway. There's an advantage for no rolling away there from the Sharks. Now cross kick, Arasamone gives it a little bit of air. That one's coming down. Mistake from Bussy at the back. Doesn't claim that one. And the try for Clermont. As they score it out wide, it is Joris Durand, the number 11, who gets it. We have got there, the commentary is supposed to be in the background while I work. I'm yapping too much on the chat. This is a real bad boy. But there, the cross kick there. Oh, nicely taken in the end from Durand again. Could have easily ended up dropping that one. And 6:30 start tomorrow. Says Kahu, yeah. So more than likely the concrete, if we end up pouring it, will be probably at about, I'd say, 7:30 or 8. Somewhere around there. All my conspiracy theories I can book or back with facts, says Bruce. I do love those mixed reviews, thanks, Hamish, says Studs Race. And one of Razor didn't say anything on YouTube, says Mohadeen. Well, he released a statement pretty much saying that he was gutted. Other than that, like, he's probably not allowed to release a huge amount. I'd assume that they've got some sort of thing that says, like, you're allowed one statement and then you have to zip it. You're working tomorrow Sunday, says Mohadeen. So for us in New Zealand, it would be Monday morning. But not working on today, Sunday, luckily. There was a chance, though, to be fair. If we needed to get a bit more of the preparation done. 7 points to 5, though, in this contest. Clermont back in it. They are down to 14 at the moment. There is something about a side with 14 players that just seems to be that they love to score tries up against a 15-man team. Also 7-0 up against Stade Francais. They are indeed. I'm convinced Gats and Pivak are going in, says Fleshin. Now, up a Lele Fasi. Kicking that one downfield. Nicely taken, Arasamoni. It's going to be a big hoof downfield. It is actually really good striking from Arasamoni, getting that one about 60 metres downfield. And we have got there, do you think Leicester can beat Stormers? Or sorry, Leicester can beat Stormers? Or do you think there will be a bounce back from that hiding last week? I actually think that the Stormers should take it. Leicester haven't gone with their best team to South Africa. Now, that doesn't mean that it's a guaranteed win by any stretch of the imagination, but the Stormers have rotated their side. Hunter Yakov's now offloading to Nick Haddon, tackled round the halfway line. Good line break there from the Sharks. Oxton Sham moving along to Sabali now. Jarenzo Julius in a little bit of space. He's had his ankle grab now, past him behind to LaRue Milan. Does get a bit too much on that kick. It just keeps on rolling and they'll go back to where it was kicked from. If he wants to coach again, Razor needs to keep the secrets. Cloak and dagger stuff in New Zealand rugby. CA studs raise. And kind of stupidity to be expected from the Sharks. What a soft try, says Titanium. Razor to take Ireland past the quarterfinals one day for redemption. Tell you what, that would be pretty huge, to be fair, wouldn't it? Whoever he goes to, if it is an international team, if they beat the All Blacks, like, it's going to be carnage in New Zealand. It already is at the moment with his sacking. We have got the winners URC coming back. What about the Sevens? So the Sevens, the official Sevens tournament is starting up the last weekend of January. In terms of the URC happening next weekend. And that is where we see the Sharks play the Stormers. Big kick downfield for Clermont and return there from Jordan Hendrickse. Currently there is 7-3 taking place though, so that is involving the sides lower ranked. In the women's side of things, Argentina have just got themselves the win over Colombia. South Africa women, they are sitting 2 wins from 2. Samoa, Tonga, both playing in the men's side of things. Now an attack and run forward again here from the Sharks. There is the penalty advantage in their favour as well. Do you think Sao has a chance in France against Toulouse? It's not a very big chance, but if they do, it would actually mean that the Sharks book themselves through if they can win this game, a spot in the Champions Cup round of 16. If they just win this game, though, over Clermont, it would mean that they move through to... That's a good finish. Okay, referee is unaware of where the mark is. Sharks tried to take that one quickly twice, told to go back for it. And okay, well, most people seem okay with Razor going. A few fans not happy. And definitely not with the players. Says Studs race. And we have got there, that'll be an interesting story, says Fleshin. And why is Khaleesi not playing? Anyone know? He is being rested for the game next week up against the Stormers. So, because of the fact that the Sharks, if they win this game, they're through to the Challenge Cup. If they lose this game, they're more than likely through to the Challenge Cup. It means that there wasn't a huge amount to gain by playing the likes of a Khaleesi, a Makazole Mapimpi, and Andre Esterhuizen in this type of matchup. Instead, it's more so just making sure they've got enough to get a win, but not going over the top because we know that the Stormers will also go strong for next week's game. What do you think of the Bulls win against Po away from home? They're not very good on the road, says Kahu. Yeah, it was an incredible win for that Bulls side and a much needed one at that. As it books themselves, that's a nice offload there from Matt Ramal. Goes short side to Jaden Hendrickse, who scores it in the corner. And it's going to be the second try of the match for the Sharks. Now, I will mention, even if the Sharks lose this game, if they do score themselves 4 tries, they guarantee that spot in the Challenge Cup at least. Just short side, Matt Ramal off the back of the scrum and then offloads to Jaden Hendrickse. So all he had to do was run it in. I will mention that Ulster are also 12-0 in their contest up against Stade Francais. So flying forward at the moment, this Ulster side. Who are people talking about Razor's replacement? Jamie Joseph seems to be the front runner at the moment. People are trying to build a bit of a dream team in terms of coaching box, but certain ones aren't really available for that at this point in time. The only time a Razor has ever been defeated by a Razor. That one's going to be kicked over. It's going to make the score now 14 points to 5, so currently 2 from 2 for Jordan Hendrickse. And yeah, the Sharkies pleasantly surprised, just got here. Says Ruby, they are playing well so far. They have got the man advantage. So we're able to use it nicely on that short side, which is actually the wing that they are missing a winger at the moment. So pretty smart play from the Sharks there too. I had a clumsy handling error at the sink. Says Katsanel, and we have also got there. What time does Zebra play today? 1 second. I'll have a quick look. Are they playing at the moment? up against the Black Lions. Where are we? Where is Zebra? Yeah, they are playing up against Black Lions at the moment. That game is 7-7 at the moment, the way that it sits. Lions favourites, says hey no. For their game up against Perpignan, I think away from home they aren't in that one. And we have got there just to say Hamish got Razor's job. And also Tony Brown, heard he was in New Zealand. There are rumours going around that him and Jamie Joseph may team up again. New Zealand Rugby would have to pay out quite a hefty amount of money to be able to do that and get him out of his Springbok contract. But who knows what the plan is. How's it, Hammy? Says Albert there. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're excited for these games. At the moment, the Sharks are leading by 9, but Clermont have got themselves the ball 22 metres out from the line. A nice flat run from Ire Samore. Ball comes out the side and the penalty awarded to Clermont. No clear release. Again against the Sharks in the breakdown. And we have got there that one chip kick try down the corner, starting from their 22 from the Bulls game. Showed the quality of South Africa for a moment anyway. Yeah, that involved Sebastian de Klerk and Cheswell Juster, didn't it? And it was one of the first times we'd actually seen de Klerk in open play throughout that contest. We have got there, I know that Lions sent a young team, but surely USAP isn't that good. Yeah, but they're at home. And being at home just seems to be a whole new ballpark when it comes to like French sides. Now, you can argue that we saw Poe did not quite get the job done at home, but Perpignan come in as $1.52 favourites, Lions $2.40 underdogs, I've just checked. About the same odds as Ospreys and Montpellier. Clermont now, they have the opportunity to kick this one towards the corner. That'll be a big loss to South Africa. And I'm sure they can't afford that, says please and tease. Is Sasha actually playing today? He is. The Stormers have made switches in their teams. See there at the moment, I think it is Czechia playing Mexico in the women's sevens. There's a lot of random games going on at the moment in the world of sevens, I will mention, with the Tier 3 matches taking place. Now, rolling more here for Clermont. I actually have 3 different games going on. My eyes are going all over the place at the moment, and that ball is not coming out for the Sharks. For Clermont. Well defended by the Sharks. It does now mean that the scrum going to be for the Shark side. Dan Carter would be a good catch. And de Klerk better at 13 for the Bulls. I didn't like the fact that he didn't touch the ball a lot up until the last 15 minutes of the game. But I think that was also down to the way that the Bulls were playing early on. Heard Tony Brown was in Wellington. That's where NZRU headquarters is. But no pitches, so probably just BS. And Argentina are very bad, says Katzenau. They're currently winning on the women's side of things for the sevens. They are sitting 3 wins from 3. Is it okay to be completely uninterested in women's 7, or does that make me a bad person, says Powerby? Well, to be fair, in terms of, like, unless you really are a sevens follower, some of these random matches that are taking place, like, they probably don't interest a lot of people, to be fair. Like, definitely not the Tier 3 stuff anyway. Like, in terms of the Division 1, I know that some people, for the women's sevens, only really watch the New Zealand-Australia final, or at least that seems to be the feedback we get here in New Zealand. But, yeah, it's one of those ones that it just depends on the team. You know, I'm happy enough to watch 2 low-ranked sides in the sevens go head-to-head, as long as they look like they want to play some decent sevens, you know. Like, and that works. We're kind of seeing that at the moment from Czechia. They're actually leading in their game up against Mexico about 21-0, believe it or not. But now, it's going to be 14-5 in this contest, and Ulster have just scored again in their game up against Stade Francais. It's forever updating in terms of all of the matches that are taking place, but that Shark scrum has finally taken place. Currently 5 minutes remaining of the red card for Clermont. It is a 20-minute red card, which does mean that they will be back to the full 15, but it will not be the same player. Did get sent off the park earlier. All is there for the Sharks now, 10 metres out from their try line. They will implode when it really counts, says Katzenau. I read this morning from a source in New Zealand that Tony is staying until 2027, wants to finish his Bok contract, irrespective whether Jonathan Joseph gets appointed, says Jacques. And also they will implode when it counts. And who's captain for the Stormers? I think Sasha is for the match, actually. He's getting the opportunity to captain the side. Now going short side here for Clermont, looking for the grubber. It will just curl into touch, but it's 5 metres out from the Sharks line. So a little bit of pressure coming in from Zamora. And as captain for the Strikers. Says Verelic. Sorry, I'm late. Who scored the Sharks try? So we saw Jaden Hendrickson score the last one. It was just a run-in down the wing. And then the earlier try for the Sharks, it was scored by Apalele Fasi. In my opinion, the Sevens brands overdid their tournaments and matches and thus debased their currency. I lost a lot of their audience, says Powerboy. I think what really lost their audience too was the fact that they kept on changing the format. I didn't think 16 teams in the format was actually broken whatsoever, but they went, nope, we're going to go down to 12. Now they've gone down to 8. So taking sides like Kenya, like Samoa, Canada, USA, Ireland, all of those sides are no longer on the main 7 circuit, which just feels like it's the same games each week now, which has been all right for the first few competitions and it's been very competitive. But eventually people will go, oh, well, we've seen those games before and we're missing what used to be that excitement of an underdog victory. We're currently sitting 22 metres out from the line for Clermont. Once again, a little bit of a lack of ball security in the breakdown. It's going to be available, though, for this Clermont side. 45 metres out from the line. Little chip attempted in behind. Awkward bouncy ball. Jaden Hendrickson goes across to Jordan. Now Sabale moves up to 25 out from the Sharks line. Offload to Hendrickson. Back across to Corne Ral. Now Fasi thinks about the boot and does so. Downfield off his left peg. Who scored so far? We have seen Jaden Hendrickson and Apalele Fasi as the 2 try scorers. That one's going to be kicked down into the 22 of the Sharks. The hands of the try scorer Fasi. And he will return kick. Oh, that's a great one too. I think that's a 50-22 if it will curl. No, it doesn't. Stays in the field of play. And now the clearing kick from Clermont. They won't be able to take that one quickly either. Very good kick downfield. Who does Springbok women playing? Their upcoming game is up against, who haven't they played so far? I think it's like Madagascar. Oh no, it's Thailand. They're playing Thailand in about 10 minutes. So we'll keep you updated in terms of the score for that one. It is expected though to be a South African victory there. I hope so. It's really showed us South Africa. We can use the backline, says Please and Tease. An upset of the Champions Cup so far, says Kahu. I would say Glasgow coming back up against Toulouse to go from, 21 or 28-0 down to go on to win that game. I would say that that's probably the biggest upset for me in terms of a mid-match upset. And prior to that, the Bears up against the Bulls was probably an upset because of how it finished in terms of the scoreline, but who else have had a big upset win? Bulls up against Poe, to be fair, just recently is a pretty big upset. They knocked Poe out of the competition completely. Greg H. Kenya always embodies second team, or is always everybody's second team in the Sevens. Hopefully they take note. But the sad thing is, Kenya worked so hard to get back onto the circuit when it was 12 teams. So they were going to be back in. And they were for a season, and then they kicked them out again. Glasgow bet to lose, says Thuds Rays. Stormers up against Byron. That is true. The early win for the Stormers in the Champions Cup was a big one. And also, Sipu Nkosi, long lost cousin, starting now for the Sharks. Says Haino. They are just showing the live standings at the moment. The way that it sits, the Sharks, they would be moving up a little bit further, but they would still probably be going into the Challenge Cup rather than Champions Cup. Lions last weekend. Glasgow were 24-0 down, 128-24. Okay, see, I know it was 20-something that they were down up against Toulouse, and then they managed to fight back in that second half, which was an incredible game. Quins last week, I guess for the score margin that they won by, it's definitely up there for the Stormers. For the Harlequins. Definitely because at the moment in the Premiership, they were in quite a struggle position. I will mention at the moment, if you're wondering why there hasn't been any commentary for just a little bit, we've got a drinks break taking place. They are playing in 28 degrees Celsius heat. They are just giving the players a little bit of a spell, but they're back into it now. Halfway line, ready to go. Cut teams to 8 means cutting a whole continent with thousands of fans. Yeah, it just didn't seem smart. I get maybe the travel costs for all of the teams, but surely, when you look at a stadium and Kenya's packed it out, in terms of thousands of Kenyans used to go to the Sevens each and every event, surely that money that they're now losing would have paid for some flights, right? Like, it just didn't make sense to me. But that's what they've done. They've done it multiple times to the sevens, and they're slowly creating a decline. And I have a feeling that if in a couple years' times, sevens may not be much of a thing anymore. We're already seeing sides like Ireland say we're no longer participating in the sevens format because of the fact that they just didn't feel like it was worth their time without being on that main stage. And both wobbly right now, and imagine if Toulouse and Toulon miss out. Says, I know, it would be huge. Apparently we do know of one South African side that have qualified for the Champions Cup round of 16, the second looking like the Stormers, but theoretically for the Sharks, they can still make it if Toulouse were to lose their game up against the Sale Sharks. However, their Kenyans pay like 50 cents for a ticket. Currency strength, says Albert. But surely if it's like overseas in those games, like you've still got the flights and everything that they're like paying. Like it's surely still making someone money having them in the competition. Artie Savia getting any stick from a razor sacking? Quite a bit. At the moment, New Zealand Rugby had to release a statement saying that Artie Savia was not primarily involved. But like I said yesterday, even if he was the primary reason, like they're not going to admit that that is why. But yeah, he is getting quite a bit of stick. I think New Zealand Rugby were in a little bit of control mode to try and kind of pat it down a little bit. Because if he is going to be the captain of the ABs, of course, they want everyone to get behind him. What are you doing for your birthday? Well, my birthday is currently 11 months away. But probably covering sevens. Normally there is the sevens weekend. Clermont now have the ball 15 metres out from their try line. Massive push there from the Sharks. And they've actually stolen that ball. Oh no. It's come out the same hole that they put the ball in for the scrum. So it actually means that they will have to reset. The seven system has been screwed by whoever is in charge. I can't be asked with it now. Says Flesh. And yeah, I initially wanted to cover the sevens competition taking place at the moment. The sevens 3. I'll probably end up covering some of the playoff games just because they don't overlap. But, yeah, it's just one of those ones that, like, even advertising-wise, I've hardly seen it advertised that the sevens has taken place this weekend. 11 months away, says Nars Williams. Yeah, it's a little while. I have to check the schedule a bit closer to the time, I think. Hamish, you seem very disciplined. I am probably not, to be honest. Like, I don't know. I'm disciplined in some things, but definitely not in others. Like today I ate 2 chocolate eclairs and I don't even regret it. They were good too. We have got the sevens decline as a sign of people not travelling to the events rather than 3 days or 12 hours of games, or reconsider to a week long, 2 or 3 hours of games each night, and target advertising to locals to attend says Starts Race. That's actually what we saw for the Indian Premier League, or the Rugby Premier League, I should say. And it seemed to be a relatively big success locally. It wasn't advertised much over here. To be fair, they were trying to get it started up, and hopefully that was a little bit of a sign that it can be done in terms of few games a night. It's another penalty, this time awarded to Clermont. And they are down to 14 men, although now back up to 15 just recently. Hamish hoping Sharks succeed today. Bulls did it yesterday. And it doesn't look like Toulon has their best team. And also, we have got there 2 chocolate eclairs. Mate, you're really going gangster now. Well, they look good. And George came round to film, you see. And when George comes round to film, he will arrive, he'll drop his laptop at the door and go, lunch? And of course, it would be rude to go, no. So we end up going out, getting some sort of food. And the chocolate eclairs weren't even lunch, to be fair. They were dessert after lunch. So I don't think I'm that disciplined, to be fair. I could have avoided the chocolate eclairs. George got some chocolate Belgian frozen waffles that he put in the microwave that almost exploded. But he was a big fan of those. And then we filmed for like 3 hours, going off to the right-hand side. Nice attack and run forward. The midfield from Loa. Now looping around Clermont for that pass. The Sharks rushing up there and then just sticking their arms out trying to distract them. Nathan Doak just scored for Ulster, so they have now got themselves the bonus point in that game. You got KFC, didn't you? We didn't. We thought about it, but we didn't go. So maybe that's the discipline. The fact that we didn't end up at KFC again. We have good there. It's a shame. There was nothing wrong with sevens. Then they tried to slant it to developing countries, which was fair. But they forget people wanted to watch the top teams compete. Yeah, and they said it was because they were losing money. But, like, I feel like they've lost more money since then, surely. To be fair, they did an interview, I think, with the women's sevens captain, one of the SABCs, but totally forgot about the event until you mentioned it. Says, hey, no, we're now breaking the line. Lorenzo Julius looking for try number 3 here for the Sharks. He thinks about the offload. He's going to be wrestled down to the turf, though, by Freya. Now they sit currently 25 metres out from the line for the Sharks. Jaden Hendrickson going for the chip in behind. There's a collision there between Apalele Fassi and the Clermont player. And by the sounds of it, the mark is called. Please pray for my mum. She is not well, says Mohadeen. So sorry to hear that. I know that you mentioned about it on another stream too. So yeah, hopefully she is going to be all right. If Jamie Joseph gets the job done, Tony Brown comes home, says Cameron. And who's winning this Champions Cup? Can anyone go on the road and win it? See, the round of 16 is going to be very intriguing because round of 16, if I remember rightly, you have a home and away game, don't you? For the round of 16. I think it's like an aggregate series. Maybe. Could be wrong, though. But I can't quite remember what it was last year. But I think, yeah, it is away and home in a 2-match series for the round of 16. Which does mean everyone's got a great chance. Or is it? Why am I thinking it's an aggregate? Is it an aggregate? Or am I making stuff up? Because surely if it's an aggregate, then it wouldn't actually matter if you're the home team or the away team, right? So surely that can't be it. Maybe it's 2 home games for one side who come in as the higher seed. Or am I making stuff up, or was it aggregate last year? I can't remember. It's quite bad. Feels like everyone is losing money. New Zealand Rugby, Sevens, Australia Cricket, Championship Football. And we have there, I have Toulon, but I wouldn't be surprised if lost a win. Now currently 8.5 minutes. Why kick it away? Says Titanium. That is a good question. I think they were trying to play a little bit of territory there, but seeing it there, Lorenzo Julius, that's about as clear of a knock-on as you will see. And it's going to be a play on. Currently sitting 8 minutes away from halftime. Joe Schmidt chances for the top job in New Zealand. Doesn't sound like he would want it yet. I think he wouldn't mind maybe being an assistant coach down the line. Bath had a good win. Imagining it, Hamish. Am I thinking of the Rugby World Cup qualifiers maybe that were aggregate? Maybe that's where it's come in. Potentially. I heard the new All Blacks coach is our very own Ruth. Honestly, believe me, says Sook. How will rugby evolve this year, Hamish? I don't think it will. I think it's actually... It's a weird year because we got the start of the first Springbok tour in a very long time. We've also got the start of the Nations Championship, which hopefully will help some of those sides progress. Oh, loose ball from the Sharks. Mistake made, and Clermont will reap the rewards. The run-in for the Clermont fullback here, Kylan Hundoy. I think I mispronounced that, but the point still stands. They have just scored off an intercept there. The Sharks making the mistake and Clermont punishing them for it. Just looking for that pass. It's a bounce pass that doesn't quite find the hands on the outside. And Kylian Hundoy, let's go through and scores it. I want Clermont to win, says Naz Williams. And I will mention, Clermont have to win this game with a bonus point, and they have to stop the Sharks from being within 7. And just to add a little bit more to the equation, they are currently down 22 in the points differential, so they have to win this game by 12. Clermont, if they do want to qualify for the next stage of the Challenge Cup. So they have to win by 12, they have to score a bonus point for 4 tries or more, and they have to stop the Sharks from scoring twice more if they want that chance to happen. So a lot has to go their way. But they can still win this game if they get it right, but they won't get the reward of a Challenge Cup spot if they do, unless they win it comfortably. And you might need some help with French names. Usually so good with Polynesian names. Yeah, French is just something that never quite stuck with me. In terms of like pronunciations, I absolutely butcher it every time. It's because of the fact that I think the one that always gets me is when there's like a T or I think it's a Z on the end. Oh, obstruction there against Clermont. And that is going to be against number 6. It means that now there is going to be the Sharks, who have got themselves the opportunity to either go 3 points or for the 7. It looks like they are kicking for the corner. Can't coach stupid. Sharks are riddled with stupidity, says Titanium. And Hoyak says 1 Pierre Bosch. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. And Jaden, bad pass got punished, says Titanium. So we're going to see it there, a bit of obstruction. Yeah, he was blocking. I mean, I don't think Yapinka was going to get to it anyway, but it is obstruction nonetheless. Who is Lorenzo Julius? Oh no. Haino's going to be annoyed when you've called that out. There's normally a sneaky spelling error, and it's nothing. Like, I need to, like, proofread them more. I just look at them at the time and then download them. But, yeah, he is missing one of his, unless it's, like, the new nickname. Maybe it's a cool nickname for him. And to be fair, Julius, you could say that it looks the same. They can. Kahu, French sides at home are tough and well supported. Says Jimbo. Now 10 metres out from the line, Nick Haddon. Going with the pick and go again. Do you give the Scarlets a chance to beat Northampton and the Franklin's Garden tomorrow? It'd be tough to do, to be fair to them. And to be fair, they can actually still knock the balls out, can't they? Up a little fuzzy. Oh, there was almost a foot trip there from the Clermont defender. And that's very close to the try line. I think he's flattened over the line. No, just going to be short. Christoph Ridley may want to have a look at this one. The T's are silent in French. Oh, on the end of names. Says Fleshin. Maybe. Now I've confused myself. Was it the T that I was thinking of, or was it a different one? There was a name yesterday that I remembered there was a silent letter on the end, but I can't remember which name it was. Oh, yeah, I've got the Stormers, the team to beat. Mark my words. Says Danian. See it there, just those couple metres out. Does give the ball back to the Sharks. Pick and go. Oh, that's great work. I've actually just realised. Oh, no, that was Jason Jenkins to try and flatten over the line. He has knocked it on in the process, though. And the Stormers, the team to beat. Mark my words, says Danian. Well, they have to make sure that they beat the Leicester Tigers first. Because without beating the Leicester Tigers, they are more than likely out of the whole competition, which would not be ideal. The Sharks are bad, says Stephen Pope. And just drops that ball, Jason Jenkins, as he was looking. Mostly Fleshin, not always, says Jimbo. And we ain't beating the Saints unless they put the women's team out, says Fleshin. And speaking of women's teams, Nadine Ruiz is out there on the field at the moment. We are going to get to watch in the corner of my eye. I'm going to keep an eye on that South Africa versus Thailand game that is just starting up now, ladies and gentlemen. South Africa are sitting 2 wins from 2 in the women's sevens, looking to book themselves a spot through to the next round, which is going to be tomorrow in the semi-finals, which we will be covering on the channel, hopefully with a bit of luck. That is going to be the penalty going the way off Clermont again. And now 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, and this is a big momentum swinger for them, the fact that the Sharks didn't go for the 3 points. How did he knock that? Says Juan Pierre. That game between Thailand and South Africa is just now kicking off. I don't think it will take too long for South Africa to strike. They have been pretty strong throughout the group stage. I believe they're sitting with a points differential of about plus 80, I want to say, just from their first 2 matches. I don't know too much about this Thai team either. Some very good players in the mix for this Blitzbox women's team. And the good news is that game is going to be predominantly taking place at halftime in this contest. So we'll be able to do a little bit of co-commentary there. Currently, Ulster, they are leading up against Stade Francais 26 points to 0. For anyone wondering about that Challenge Cup game, Zebre have got themselves the lead over the Black Lions 14-7. But now the ball in the hands of Clermont with 60 seconds remaining in the first half. Sharks always rush things. They cost them this time, says Titanium. Going off to the left-hand side. Not making a huge amount of meterage in the process here for Clermont as of yet. What sevens is on? Is it not month end in Singapore? It is. So this is the, pretty much, since they've split it into divisions, this is the 3rd division of sevens. So in the women's, there's South Africa, Argentina, Thailand, There is Czechia, Mexico, and those type of sides. And then in the men's, it's Samoa, Tonga, Belgium, Canada. But yeah, it's a competition in between to confirm who gets to play in the championship later on in the season. Now let's kick crossfield. Oh, drop ball there. Another mistake. That's great work, though, from Yapinka, because that easily could have been a breakaway for Clermont had he not been able to make that follow-up one. There is a knock-on advantage in favour of Clermont, though. If the Sharks can get this ball back, it would be the half-time break, but for now, they are going to continue the attack their way, so Rasamone ends up in a little bit of a tight position there with about 3 Sharks players looking to make the tackle on him. Now, right-hand side again. Quick hands, going out wide. Oh, it was forward. And that is going to be half-time. Thailand are leading over South Africa in the women's sevens, ladies and gents, by the way. But 14 points to 12, the score at half-time in this contest. And Nadine Rus makes me think of Brett Russell, the pocket rocket. Says Neil. A shot 8-year-old legend, says Jacques there. And also we have got there Timio Freya's quite a handy player. I mean, a Shark supporter means you chew your nails. Cool fact. There's quite a few handy players across this Clermont side. To be fair, they've held their own throughout this contest. But 14 points to 12 at halftime. Halftime also at Ulster and Stade Francais game. That is going to make the score 26-0 in that contest. And currently Thailand are leading over the Blitzbox women's 5-0. How are you watching the sevens? It is on Rugby Pass TV. So I am going to be catching the action on there, keeping a close eye on the games. Just in about an hour and 15 minutes, Samoa play Tonga in the men's side of things, so that will be a physical outing. And that Sharks wing is the worst in Sharks history. Is that your pink I assume you're talking about? Great breaking run here from Fortune in the women's game, and I believe South Africa will score their first try of the women's contest now. And we have got their Zebra score, 14-7 in favour of Zebra. And I just think of that random quote from, is it Dusek? I can't actually pronounce that first one very well. In the former life, I was a mule dragging a stone plough up a hill, northern Thailand. And go Thailand. So payment for the sevens on Rugby Pass. No payment whatsoever, free to air on Rugby Pass TV. Which is great news, because I feel like we haven't had a lot of free to air rugby around the place in recent times. I know, come on, Black Lion. Says Hano, but yeah, so I've got one screen open with that game between South Africa and Thailand and the women's sevens, as well as just the whole sevens that has taken place. My main screen is South Africa versus France in this Champions Cup game of Sharks versus Clermont, and then I've got a mini screen next to it, all on the same monitor. It's like a sports bar in here, and that one's got Ulster versus Stade Francais. Meanwhile, I've got the chat there. Stream there. She's a eyes easily, well, I mean, they're already bloodshot, and I think they're going to be much worse by the end of it with the amount of different things that I'm watching. Currently 7 points to 5 in favour of the South Africans over Thailand. Bit of a rough pass there from the Thai lady, and it is going to be now a scrum feed for South Africa, 40 metres out. I'm going to end up commentating that game if I'm not careful. I'm just watching it during this halftime break. But currently the Sharks, they are leading by the 2 points. We saw 2 tries scored throughout the first half for the home side. We saw Apalele Pasi score 1, and we saw Jaden Hendrickse score the other. If the Sharks want to guarantee their spot in the Challenge Cup, they need another 2 tries, and no matter what would happen from there, they are going through to the next stage of the competition, and that would also give them a decent chance of making it to the Champions Cup, round of 16, but they have to rely on the Sale Sharks, the side that they were rivals with last week, to get the job done up against Toulouse. Who said sports bar on my way, says Sharks. And we have got there, no wonder you're sneezing at some point, AV overload. Sorry, mate, my ears, I thought I heard you say mini screen, says Naz Williams. Not quite, the mini screen in that case. And hi, Hamish, how you doing? What games are you covering today? So next game that we've got is going to be Stormers versus Leicester Tigers, while also keeping you updated on what is happening in the sevens all throughout the day. And then it's another try for South Africa, by the looks of it. They've got themselves the second one in the match up against Thailand now. But yeah, in terms of what is coming up tomorrow, I'm hoping to do Bristol Bears versus Bordeaux. Also hoping to do La Rochelle versus Harlequins. And then maybe Saracens versus Glasgow, depending on if we're pouring concrete during that match. Now, of course, if I'm pouring concrete at the same time as commentating, that would be very tricky, so I'll probably be doing one or the other. But also the Sevens playoff games I am hoping to cover. I didn't get to cover any of them today, unfortunately, but I have been keeping an eye on the Sevens, the matches that have taken place so far. When South African women are playing, they're playing again, more than likely in the semi-final. So that'll be taking place a bit later on. 1 second. I'll grab this. Semi-finals, I believe they'll be playing at 8:28 p.m. New Zealand time, so that'll be 9:28 a.m. South African time. We'll go like this, we'll go like that. And we have got there who has scored, says Cheetah. So far, Upper Fasi, Jaden Hendrickson, the 2 try scorers for the Sharks, and then for Clermont, they have had the try of Jurand and also Hamadoy. Hamdoy. So after scoring that first try in the match up against South Africa, Thailand have not scored since. And it looks like heading into the halftime break, score likely to sit as either 14-5. Oh no, in fact it's going to be probably 21-5 now. Another try for the Springboks ladies. Easy on the vodka, Hamish, says Ruby. On top of the world, thanks, says Philip. As a women's final tomorrow, it will be, yes. So if South Africa win their match, they will go through to the final. And more than likely, that'll be up against Argentina, who are looking pretty solid in the competition at the moment. And they will be playing at, it will be 1:59 p.m. South African time. We have got there, how much do we have to pay you dollars to do the first Warriors game against the Roosters, Hamish? When is it taking place? In fact, I've got a document on Google Drive where I pretty much got everything that's happening in the world of rugby and rugby league over the next 12 months. Where are we? 1 second. What weekend is that taking place? If there's no overlap, or even if there is an overlap, if it's a game you guys are keen on, we might have to consider it. How much money do you want? Is that like just in general in life? Or like for that game? Hamish, have you been going all day? That's because you almost drank a litre there at one go. That was a big drink, to be fair. But I've done a lot of talking today. Me and George, we filmed for about, I think it was 3 hours earlier today. So trying to stay hydrated from that. I've lost the document. Where did I put it? Just watching Man U versus Man City. Man U just scored a stunner. Because that one was quite close, wasn't it? Or at least it was 0-0 when I saw it. That was at the start of the time. Monopoly money, says Nars Williams. I do like a game of Monopoly. I actually got into Monopoly. What's it called? Monopoly Go, is it? I have it in the drawer. 1 second. Monopoly Deal. They're green, so you can't see them. But you know, Monopoly Deal, I was real into that for like a week. I was playing it non-stop. But sadly, the problem is you need 2 people. So, like, I convinced people to play it with me for the first week. Then no one wanted to play it with me anymore in the second week. Sounds quite sad, but it's true. Right, NRL Warriors Roosters. I have found it there. The only game it overlaps with, actually it overlaps with 2 games. Chiefs Moana Pacifica, Waratahs Hurricanes. We'll see. Man U currently smashing them 1-0. Says Studs Rays and Monopoly Money Oosh. And women's update at the moment, it is 21 points to 5 in favour of South Africa, as the second half has just now got back underway. Still half-time in this contest. Same with Ulster versus Stade Francais. Still half-time in that game too. And Low Hamish to throwing money at you, says Cheetah. Yeah, that South Africa versus Argentina women's final seems to be the most likely. At the moment, 8 p.m. on Friday night, says Nars Williams. But yeah, so there are a couple of Super Rugby games, but we'll see. See how everything's going in that regard. Because I do want to do a lot more Warriors games than I did last year. But all I have to do to be able to say that I have is do one. because I didn't do any Warriors games last year. But we are planning on doing the Rugby League World Cup on the channel. So it would only be right that we cover a bit of the NRL as well. I'd also like to go back to doing State of Origin too, as it does normally happen midweek and doesn't have a lot of overlaps. Pal versus Toulouse, says Hayno. Is that for next week? Are we talking? We have got the South Africa women play after this. Says Mohadino, they currently are playing 21 points to 5 in their favour over Thailand. They do play in the semi-finals in their next contest. Okay, they're trying to... Oh, they're playing a game to win 20,000 Rand by the looks of it, and someone just won it. Next week, yes, says Hayno. So sadly here in New Zealand, you can't watch the top 14 unless you buy another subscription to like a top 14 broadcaster. So it's pretty brutal. On top of the fact that we already have the EPCR TV subscription, the URC TV subscription, and a Sky Sports subscription. Alongside, I also have Stan Sport for those games that aren't shown here. I mean, who they play after this? Says Mohadin, no one confirmed yet. We're still waiting to find out, as there's still a couple matches that do need to take place for them to find out exactly who is playing who. But by the looks of it, it will be Poland they have just put through. So yeah, Poland versus South Africa. There could be a hard game. Poland looked good in their matches. I don't know how they went up against Argentina, though. That is a game that I did miss. I'll just have a quick look now. Argentina versus Poland. Oh, Argentina won 22-5. So you think South Africa should be able to win that game. But we'll wait and see. Shucks. Thailand, what's the size difference there? Thais ain't that big. There is a bit of a size discrepancy between the two teams. But they are trying in that game. Thailand, Glasgow good. They are a very strong side. What time is that game? Says Hayno. So if we're talking about that Poland match, it will be taking place at 9:28 a.m. South African time. I was just doing the time zone calculations there, but yeah, 9:28 a.m. when that match will be taking place. And to be honest, I'll probably end up covering it on the channel. No, Pollard must be sacked, says Mohadin. And then in the other match, it will be Argentina versus the second team in this group. Yeah, I would quite like to do a few of those Sevens games, just because I feel like they need a little bit of love for the Sevens 3 circuit as well. Samoa, more than likely making it through. From a Poland lover to a Poland hater, says Hayno. To a Pollard lover to a Pollard hater, says Hayno. Yeah, how quickly it changed. Any rule criteria in regards to Ladyboys playing respectfully? I'm not too sure of the qualification process in that regard. Now, second half just about to get underway for the Sharks versus Clermont matchup. South Africans just went for a cross kick there, but the ball does roll into touch in that game. Seems like they've scored their 3 quick fire tries, but now it seems like it's gone a bit quiet for them. Did the women score? They are still sitting on 21 points at this stage. Ulster versus Stade Francais. Now, both of these games ended pretty much at the same time. So you would think that both games would actually get back underway pretty much identically as well. But looking through at what is to come for these two sides, anyone wondering, Clermont, next week they have got La Rochelle in the top 14. That is going to be a challenging contest, but I'm sure they will be going with a very different looking side than we see here today. Castres, they are going head-to-head with Clermont. That is in 2 weeks' time. But as you can see, Clermont, $15 underdogs for this game to only be down by 2 points. I think they'd be pretty happy. In fact, while we're at it, we might as well check what is the way or what is the score. Clermont are $10 underdogs in this scenario, even though they're only down by 2 points. So they are considered as a side that might drop off in the second half. For the Sharks, their next 2 games, it is not an easy day for the Sharks next week. They will be up against a Stormers side that will be more than up for the challenge. They are undefeated in the URC. And they've had a perfect home record so far throughout this year. The Sharks, they are sitting at the moment in 14th on the URC standing, so they will need quite the booster if they do want to make their way through to the next stage. But if they would somehow win both of those games up against the Stormers, they would be back in the top 8 and have a great chance of making the playoffs in the competition. But plenty more to come in terms of rugby for today. Stormers versus Leicester Tigers. That is taking place in the near future. That one is the next game that is kicking off. We are going to be covering that match. South Africa have just scored again in the women's game. 28 points to 5 now over Thailand. And Clermont's still in it, says Jeff Hay. And Zebra 14-14 up against the Black Lions. And yes, and a lot to lose, says Please and Tease. Now they're both of these sides making their way out of the tunnel. Ready to go for another half. They're showing Emmanuel Tachuka. I can't think of a night or a time throughout that first half that I actually said that man's name. Whereas normally he is extremely predominant for the Sharks side. He's been scoring for fun in recent times. And what are the home advantage? Because I'm pretty sure Glasgow won't get to play at Scotstoun. So I think they get home advantage up until the final, I believe, is the way that it sits for sides. Like, you do get that home field advantage, but then the final is a predetermined location. A bit similar to what we saw last year. Now that one's going to be kicked downfield, nicely taken by Nick Haddon. And they're back underway now. The Sharks on their own 22. If they score 2 tries here, no matter what happens, they guarantee their spot at least in the Challenge Cup, if not champions. But if they do end up losing this game to Clermont by 12 points and they don't score a bonus point and Clermont do, Clermont would knock Sharks out of the Challenge Cup. Windy is howling here in Wellington. Probably very windy in Cape Town too. Evening, Hamish. Appreciate the commentary. See you, Tommy Tank Gaming. Thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciate you being here once again. This one kicked downfield by Clermont. Nice take from Sabale under the high ball, getting forced backwards by the Clermont defence. Now, Jaden Hendrickse goes across to Vincent Koch, who has made his way onto the field. Now, told to use it there for Hendrickse. I don't think they get to play there. I think either Murrayfield or Hampden Park, says Kaho. Oh, I get what you're saying. Like, they're going with a bigger stadium. Oh, that one was a loose ball. It is knocked on by Jurand. And the advantage is still in play. That was a little bit of a bad play there from Clermont. They just sat there waiting. This ball's going to go in the in-goal area. Clermont force it down. And it will now be the goal line dropout. But as soon as he dropped that ball there, Jurand, he stopped chasing. He gave up on it. And that gave Upper Lelefasi a chance down the wing to be able to get something going. As South Africa woman update at the moment, they have just scored another try. I believe it will almost be the end of that contest now. So they will be leading at the moment 33-5. With just the 7 seconds remaining. I believe Malinga was the one who scored that one. And also we have got there anyone who says Pollard must be sacked. There's a very short memory span, says the real bad boy. And also only those ones, Zeus, the Farsi, when you get the wrong right. So I have no idea what you're talking about, Sock. But a penalty awarded to the Sharks. They take this tap quickly. Jaden Hendrickson goes to Jordan. Now past on the outside to LaRue. Milan finds Yapinka. Now sitting 12 metres out from the line. A good position to be in for the Sharks. And they've knocked it on again. It's going to be a huge upset given they were $15 underdogs here. Even at half-time, down by 2 points. Oh no, they found a offside before the knock-on. Number 4 and number 8, so that's not ideal. Multiple players in an offside position there for Clermont. They've already had less than the 15 men on the field throughout this match, so they won't want that to happen again. Looks like again they are looking at the quick tap option. Nick Haddon tried to catch them a little bit off guard, the Clermont defence. Now Jaden Hendrickse. Oh, another advantage for offside against Clermont. They cannot afford to continue giving away these penalty advantages or else they will find themselves conceding in the very near future. Backline started to move. Oh, that was an extended elbow from Jordan Hendrickse. Caught the player right on the jaw. Tackle made by Loa. Now still under penalty advantage. I will mention in the Sevens game, it did end with the Blitzbox woman winning 33 points to 5. And now Belgium versus Italy is about to take place. And that is for the men's side of things. Now Jaden Hendrickse trying to find a gap. Here comes LaRue Milan. Can't get the offload away to Sabali. Good work in the breakdown initially from Clermont. Now Gerenzo Julius on the short side. Wrestle towards the sideline. They'll go back for the penalty again. Would it be huge, or would it be a huge win if Bayonne beat Leinster? It would be. I think it is a Bayonne home game though, so it will be a tricky one for Leinster, but yeah, it'd still be considered, I believe, an upset if Bayonne win that. We'll just have a quick look now. In terms of the way that it sits, Champions Cup, go like that. Where are they? Yeah, Leinster are $1.10 favourites compared to Bayonne's $6.40. Leroux Milan, decent player. Yeah, did it very nicely in the NPC here in New Zealand. He actually spent the season here recently. He has represented Namibia in the Rugby World Cup. He was actually the player who some remember got his leg snapped in half in that game up against the All Blacks. He's recovered well, and since then, been looking extremely dangerous. Currently, blue told to get out of there again for Clermont. Only 2 metres out from the line now for the Sharks. They go in, and that is their third try of the match now. A crucial time to score it when they had the momentum, and when Clermont were down to 14, they did receive that yellow card. While I was looking at that Sevens game, but so it's now 19 points to 12, and it's Vincent Koch who has managed to score the try here. Oxenshire was playing in this game, right? I haven't mentioned him too many times. I know that they've made the changes now, and it's Vincent Koch out there on the field alongside Gunyane. But did I mention Oxenshire with the ball in hand? What I would do for Leicester to beat the Stormers, says Hano. Yep, says Hano. Did he have a good game? I can't even remember anything that Oxenshire has done in this game. Interesting. Did any Japan team play today? Yeah, there was quite a few Japanese games taking place earlier on. And we have got their well-known comrades here, says Sok. And also a scrum, says Ano. Yeah, he didn't have a lot of carries, did he? Or at least if he did, I didn't see a lot of them. It looks like they are now down by 9 points here, Clermont, and still down a man for the next 8 minutes or so. He didn't say anything of Ox, says Mohamed. Now Nick Hatton runs it forward. Oh, stepped off the breakdown, says the referee. Referee has now told Jaden Hendrickson to use it back into the pocket to Jordan. Rassi said Ox must only play a half, says Johan Labaskachny. And also, I got to get on the road. Thanks, Hamish. We'll catch you for the next one, says the real bad boy. So we will see you maybe later on for that Stormers versus Leicester game. If not, perhaps tomorrow instead. 47 minutes into this match, and the Sharks just need one more try. To be fair, resting him for next week, says Hano. Do you think Gloucester can beat Toulon? I think that's going to be a really good game. Or at least I hope it is. Oh, there's going to be a knock on there against the Sharks again. Looking for the offload there, Clermont. A little bit of a risky one. But they have still got the knock-on advantage if needed. It looks like they may actually consider rolling this one back. Oh, now they have knocked it on, so they will go back for the initial scrum. Belgium have just scored in their game up against the Italians in the sevens. They sit 7 points to 5 in the lead. You see it there, Sabatle, just as he was going aground, had a fumble of possession. Wasn't quite able to hang on to it how he would have liked. Looks like also a change is being made for Clermont. Currently Ulster are sitting 26 points up over Stade Francais, although Stade Francais do have an opportunity to kick this one for the corner and may be able to score their first points of the day. Also already in a position where they do have a bonus point. They will be a tough side to beat in the challenge as well as in the URC. At the end of tomorrow, we will know exactly who is playing who in the round of 16. I believe that has taken place in April. I think Munster can beat Castra. Once again, they've got potential, but it'll be a tough game. Like, at the end of the day, all of these Champions Cup games, I think all we've learnt from it is that underdogs, if they're only slight underdogs, can get the job done. But like Munster, they're at home. Like, if they were to lose that game, because Castra have gone makeshift, that would be a big problem. Like, I wouldn't say it's a guaranteed win, but they should be about 90%, maybe even 95% likely to win that contest. When South Africa men play, they don't play in the sevens. This is only tier 3 sides that are playing in that sevens format. The men's side will be playing in 2 weeks' time in the Singapore sevens. Kick downfield now. And that ball sits, another knock on from, no, they say it's off the foot of Afalele Fasi. Belgian rugby seems to have decided to give it a go like Spain and Portugal did. And Razor come to the Springboks under Rassi. Says Danian there. And Castros versus Munster, they play each other a lot, don't they? Says, yeah, they seem to. It's a little bit similar to what we've seen for the likes of Leinster versus La Rochelle. They just always seem to match up. Now, a lot of pressure coming on for Clermont. The number 13, Joseph Freya, has controlled it. So another 5.5 minutes remaining of yellow card time for Clermont. And try for Stade Francais. Yeah, they have just got over the line. It's the tie head prop. Manages to score. Harlequin's going to get Scott Barrett too if it's a combo deal. Says Sock. Oh, collision there off the ball. By the sounds of it, eyes were always on the ball, so referee says play on once more. Avalili Fasi, cross kick there, a lot of open space for Supali. He's got Lorenzo Julius on his inside, goes himself, had to score it and certainly does. Big dive there too. And the Challenge Cup secured here for the Sharks. That is the minimum that they can get. They have still got a chance of making it through to the Champions Cup. And that is if, and it's a big if Toulouse lose their game. Or if Saracens, I believe, lose badly enough up against Glasgow, which could happen. There's actually, to be fair, the Sharks have left it late, but there's still a chance that they can go through. I'm a cheetah acting supporter, but I love to watch the Bulls play, and I watched them against Bristol Bears on my birthday. Says Haljamar. Jeez, that would have been a great game to watch for the Bears and the Bulls, a high scoring one at that. Which game are you covering after the Stormers? So no other games tonight, but the games that I'm covering tomorrow will be Bristol Bears versus Bordeaux. Also, I'm hoping to do La Rochelle Harlequins, then maybe Saracens versus Glasgow, depending on if I'm pouring concrete. If we're pouring concrete in the morning, of course, I won't be able to cover that game because I will be working. So, yeah, it depends a little bit on schedule. But hoping to do those 3. And also some of the sevens taking place too. I still can't fathom why Germany doesn't have another go. But they seem happy with the amateur setup. Maybe a good shout, really. Sears Flesham. Yeah, see, Germany, although they're in tier 2 for the sevens, which is good news. But yeah, for Union side of things, like they do have a lot of talent. To be fair, like they've got some great players, and I feel like they're now getting the opportunity to show what they can do in the sevens. Right, Freya comes off the field, and Ruffy makes his way on. Saris were great last week, going to be a cracker with Glasgow. And also, they should stop over here in Australia to pick Raygun up. And have Clermont give it up. I would say no, but it's really tough for them from here, I would think. Only 28 points to 12. The bonus point intact for the Sharks. But Clermont, they have spent 30 minutes of this game almost with 14 men. Concrete can wait, keep the truck idling, says Bruce. I would have to say from that comment that you possibly haven't poured concrete, Bruce. They don't like waiting very much. In fact, they don't even like waiting while they're doing the concrete. Now, going downfield. Big boot, nicely taken. Just outside of the 22 now for Clermont. Gilliard kicks downfield. Taken by Jordan Hendrickson. Okay, just send me a message later on it all. Says Haino. And Raygun says Neil Bester. Outside of the 22 again, Tom Raffy. Let's kick this one into touch. It seems like the Sharks are taking control of this game now, though. And Ulster score currently 26 points to 7. We have got there, rev it up occasionally, otherwise you glaze the boards. Says Bruce, it's not so much the time that to try and keep the concrete from setting. It's more so they are normally on a pretty hectic schedule just after the Christmas break too. So it means that they just want to get in, get out, and get back to the plant. My son played against the German under-18s years ago. He said they were massive and brutal. Says Fleshin, that doesn't surprise me one, but there's some tall timber in the 7 setup. I'm undecided between Toulouse and the Lions. I might do. Says Hayno there. Yeah, see, the Lions game is expected to be closer. Toulouse versus Sale Sharks. Yeah, I would definitely do the Lions game. Toulouse are expected to win up against Sale Sharks by 47 points. So, yeah, that's not ideal. If you thought Rewa was a Claymore as a ass, says Sock, and I'm undecided. Oh no, I read that one. If I may ask, do you miss the South African team in Super Rugby? What's your favourite South African team? So, I don't really have a favourite South African team just because I'm that used to covering them all. In terms of missing them in Super Rugby, I'll be honest, I like them in the URC purely because of the fact that outside of the South African sides being in the URC, we never used to cover this competition that much on the channel. So the fact that now we get to cover Super Rugby and the URC, I think is great. But I know that some people would say that they don't miss them from Super Rugby. Some would say that they really do. But yeah, for me, it's a little bit indifferent because of the fact that I get to watch them play anyway. And I like the fact that they're in the Champions and Challenge Cup because we get to see them take on the rest of Europe as well. It kind of sets us up towards that Club World Cup. I met plenty of concrete truck drivers, yet to meet a good one. Says Bruce. Yeah, it's a tricky world out there in the concrete business. We've got a woman update at the moment. The men are playing. Belgium are sitting 14 points to 10 in what has been a back and forth game up against the Italians. Now kick downfield again from Clermont. They've run out of ideas on attack, it would seem. They're just trying to get that territory game going. But every time they go back, Apelele Fassi or Jordan Hendrickson is waiting for it and is ready to go for the kick back downfield. The OG South Africans miss Super Rugby. Says Neil there. I was likely to be in the Champions Cup final. I think that Bordeaux, definitely a hard side to beat. That is guaranteed. So I would say they are probably going to be able to defend their title, or at least be in the final to try and defend it. Outside of that, I'd say, Leinster, they look all right at the moment. I wouldn't put it past Toulouse if they can get past this group stage. They are the type of side that could win away from home if they stack their side. You've got Glasgow are looking all right. There's so many good sides at the moment in this competition. In fact, I'd probably say there's a good 7 or 8 who have a really good shot of making it to the final at this point in time. Now another line-out throw run in by Edouard Swart. He has been playing as a replacement hooker the last few games that we've covered of the Sharks on the channel. And come on, the Stormers practicing still for the next game. Says Bruce, I called 35-12 at the beginning. I should have made a bet, says Neil. And if Clermont do not get that defence sorted, they could actually end up conceding more than 35. Could be a brutal one. I'm starting to see a lack of chance that they score again, although Vincent Koch has just given the ball straight back to them. Maybe it could still happen. Yeah, you would have been quite close. All bang on. 25 minutes left. We'll fly by. And tell you what, speaking of flying by, Stade Francais, they are starting to make a bit of a comeback here, ladies and gentlemen. They are 26-12 down. They were 26-0 down at half-time. Okay, there is a player who needs to be looked at. He took a nasty head knock by the looks of it. It's actually Seilala Lam. The Samoan international has dropped to a knee. I just want to assess him here. What is your opinion on the Sharks so far since covering the games? They have underperformed the last couple years, I do have to say, compared to what people expect of them. They're a side that currently have had a lot of handling errors and a lot of mistakes. But when they play good rugby, it can be really good rugby. It's just that at the moment they haven't been able to play that consistently enough to find themselves in the top 8 of the URC. Glasgow are peaking. I wouldn't want to play them at their place on that 4G pitch in the cold. And who do you think will win the Super Rugby? Do you give Aussie teams a chance? I think at the moment for me it's between the Satyrs, the Chiefs and the Blues. They for me are the front runners, but you can never really count out the Brumbies or the Reds. I'd say that they still have a decent shot if they can get that home semi. I think that's the crucial part of it. Belgium trying to score again up against the Italians. It's been a bit of a back and forth one and actually a really good game. Been watching it out of the corner of my eye throughout this one as well. Good moments for both sides. taking place. But now the scrum is about to happen. Say La La Lamb has been cleared and all right to go. Clermont have made 88 tackles throughout this game compared to the Sharks, who have made 65. And clanging by Stockdale, says Jimbo. And the thing is, there's still enough time in that contest that they can come back. Stade Francais. Big feed. And a free kick. Awarded to Clermont. They've said that the last scrum did that too. I'm pleased with the score. And the Sharks play good rugby. They make it to the semi-final. Full stop at the end. Says Sock going high. Nice take again from Sabali. He's been really solid under the eyeball. He's getting spun around all over the place like he's on a carousel. By his opposite number there. Now Matt Ramal tackled again. Bit of a counter-ruck there from Clermont, but they leave their feet. And it's going to be another penalty against them. Now what we will quickly do, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we will show the table. So, if the Sharks win this game, ladies and gentlemen, right? They will move up to 10 points. With that, their points differential, the way that it currently sits would be minus 32. That's a lie. We'll try that. No, it would be minus 32. Which means that Saracens in their game up against Glasgow would have to lose by about 60 points to be knocked below the Sharks. Just to put it into perspective as another way that the Sharks can get through to the Champions Cup. I think the Challenge Cup is where they will sit at the end of this round, the Sharks. They just needed one more bonus point somewhere along the lines. That loss to Sale, I think, hurt them a bit, getting the 16 points against them in favour of Sale, I should say. It's 26-10, the end score for that game. They had the win up against Saracens, which was a big one that almost got them through. And then the other match, who did they play in their other game? I'm trying to remember. Was it in one of these games? It was up against Toulouse. 56 points to 19. See, one more try in that game for the Sharks. And this could have been looking very different. Now another mistake. Only 22 minutes left. URC looking at Black Lion to replace whichever Welsh region gets axed, apparently. Says Haino. It would be interesting, because I guess they do theoretically want 16 teams. I don't think, well, unless they want a side to have a bye each round. But it doesn't really work for conference style of things. But, I mean, if they had a bye each round, that probably wouldn't actually be a bad thing. Because then one team will get that little bit of a rest. But the Sharks will pick themselves up for the URC, hey? Says Cool Story. Well, they have to. Because their next game is up against the Stormers. I do see that a Belgian player just got sent to the bin there. The game up against the Italians. So that'll be an intriguing last 3 minutes. Say La La Lamb will make his way from the field. So he was initially assessed by the medics. And now they're going to take him off. DSG is going to win. Pile needs 72 runs with five balls is going to be pretty brutal. Unless there's a lot of, well, in fact, no, that just seems impossible. I was going to say unless there's a lot of no balls, but that would be a huge amount. And by then you just chuck the bowler out, wouldn't you? I think they tried to get London Irish, but it fell through. Do you have Sarries a chance against Glasgow tomorrow? I think it will be a close game. Definitely if Saracens have picked their best. It's quite a strong competition. No wonder these northern teams are getting stronger. Says Nars Williams. Yeah, there's the upset option for a lot of these games, which is the great thing about it. Like Clermont, there was a time at half-time where they were only down by 2 points. When they're announcing the Rugby World Cup dates, I think it's in February. Maybe. I think I actually saw about it at the time. But I can't remember what I actually said. 1 second. We'll go like that. Fixtures. When were they going to announce those? I think it's on their website. Oh, there is a knock-on advantage now. Oh, they got the countdown to kickoff. 621 days away. Okay, knock-on scrum. Okay, the pre-sale for tickets opens on the 18th of February, so you would assume that they would announce it before then. In terms of the times that those games are taking place. I'm not sure of the exact date, though. And Sharks swimming away with it. Yeah, they're going to need, I would say, to be honest, to give them a really good shot of somehow making it to Champions Cup, they probably need another 3 or 4 tries in the last 20 minutes of this game. And I'm not saying that's impossible, although they haven't had a huge amount of possession at the moment. It was actually an uncontested scrum. In that case, I think that is because, say, Lala Lam was off the field. Yeah, so the reason it is uncontested scrums is because, say, Lala Lam's gone off for an HIA, which means that they don't have a hooker who can come back on by the sounds of it, because their initial hooker who did start this game, Atene Foucault, I believe came off injured earlier. We have got their 0 points in the first 15 minutes of the second half in the Zebra game. And also, we've got this in the bag. No balls come back in. Now passed on the outside. Yapinka going for the chip and behind. Looking to score again. He's taken the ball. Look for the inside pass. And it just doesn't quite go into the hands of Milan the way he would have liked. It was close, though. Oh, okay. It sounded like initially they said that it was knocked back. I've got it there that it did lead to the grounding, eventually a pressive scoreline. I just got back. I had to catch a snake. Our dogs were going crazy, says Ruby. Sounds like a very casual, like you just pretty much just dropped. You had to catch a snake like it's something that happens often. Now, the last quarter of this contest, there is going to be a TMO decision. By the sounds of it, they're going to be going upstairs to have a look. Right, Italy have just scored again up against Belgium, and I think that secures the win for this Italian side. Oh, did it initially go back? Then there is the knock-on from Milan. Bordeaux favourites against Bristol. Should be a close one at the Ashton Gate, says Kahu. So I think Bristol come in as slight underdogs for that contest by the looks of it. Or at least they were the last time that I checked. Yeah, Bristol $3.15 underdogs, Bordeaux $1.33 favourites. There's going to be the scrum feed now for Clermont. The Italians have managed to get themselves the victory over Belgium in the sevens. Mustn't you call a snake company to come check, says Mohadin. As bird with a long neck eats the snakes in our garden, says Cool Story. It's number 8 so far, so pretty often they are not poisonous though. So you've had to clear 8 snakes from your backyard. I don't know if I could do that. I remember the Larue League break against New Zealand. I certainly do. He spent the last season in the NPC here in New Zealand. Actually played really well throughout that season for them. And we have got there, I imagine if the Scarlets beat Northampton, it would be huge. And it would also possibly knock the Bulls out of the Champions Cup, which is a bit of a crazy one, but it is what can happen. These are the way that the groups sit at the moment. As you can see there, the Bulls are on 7 points. So for the Scarlets, because their points differential was better, if they won that game with a bonus point, they would go through. And the Bulls would be knocked down to the Challenge Cup, and Poe would miss out on the Challenge Cup completely. My possible surprise game for the week could be Exeter versus Cardiff tomorrow. I actually picked that game to be a draw because I couldn't decide who was actually going to win it. DSG won by 59 runs. Says cross-boarding there. I see taken. See, I haven't actually had a chance to watch any of the SA20 this year, unfortunately. I don't think it's too easily accessible here in New Zealand. So who's in the DSG team? Cross-boarding, do let me know. Another penalty goes the way of Clermont. There's been quite a few against the Sharks in just recent succession. Evening, Hamish, strange and confusing times in New Zealand rugby. Hope that everything sorts itself out and settles down soon. Says Josh Pike. Yeah, it's certainly a different thing to experience for a few Kiwis, but yeah, I'm curious to see what happens next and whether or not it does go better or worse. Looking forward to seeing who plays who in the next round of 16, says Kahu. I once put a snake I caught in a lunchbox for my friend. It was hilarious when he opened it. So you prank them by putting a snake in their lunchbox. Remind me to never leave a lunchbox anywhere near you, Ruby. Because or else, I don't know what you'd put in there. Now that's going to be a penalty again going the way of the Sharks. Now quick tap taken by the Sharks side, trying to up the pace a little bit. Here comes Pepsi Buthelezi. Moves to 22 metres out. Ball has been played at on the ground from Clermont. They're their own worst enemy. And it's going to be a yellow card now again. Would Jamie Joseph be the first Māori All Blacks coach? Not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure whether or not... I can't think of who else has been coached for the Kiwis before, like, Graham Henry. In terms of era-wise, I can't think of too many before then. How does it work? Like, the format of the top pools play fourth and different pool. How does it work? A little bit similar. Yeah, it's normally done off the rankings of teams. I think it's slightly like they've got the system, but it's much easier to just wait to find out who plays who. Like it's a confusing setup a little bit. Definitely with the amount of times that teams are moving just recently. And when you come into Cape Town, I'm not sure. Be a little while though. Just because funding, it would be an expensive trip, I can tell you that right now. Even flights to get over to South Africa and back are about maybe 3,000 New Zealand dollars, so that's about 30,000 rand at the moment anyway, and that is depending on where you go. Now that ball's available for the Sharks, 7 metres out. When do the Scarlets play? They play a little bit later on today. I think. Yeah, they actually... Oh, it's going to be another penalty. See what, they're adding up at the moment. Oh, quick tap taken. And it is the try. It's Upper Lilifasi. In fact, sorry, they play tomorrow. The Scarlets. Madagascar have just scored a try up against Canada in the sevens. Upper Lilifasi again blocking his ears. And 83k. Rather stay in New Zealand. Cape Town is worth 83k. Says Haino. And Scarlets nearly beat Bristol. They can give it a go against Northampton, says Kahu. If you come to South Africa after June, you have enough friends in South Africa, Hamish, you wouldn't have to pay a cent for accommodation, I guarantee you, says Ruby. You can't even swim in the ocean, it's too cold, says Haino. When will South Africa compete in the championship properly? Besides the Stormers right now, it's a tricky one. I mean, the Bulls being in the round of 16, I still wouldn't want to play them in that round of 16 stage. Because, you know, we've just seen what they were able to do up against Poe away from home. Who knows, maybe they can knock out a favourite of the competition, and then that would certainly make a bit of a statement. But 35 points to 12 now in favour of the Sharks. It is good. It is what they needed, but they need more tries if they want to increase that points differential and give themselves just a little bit more of a chance of qualifying for the Champions Cup. If you come to South Africa after August this year, I have a bid for you, says Joss. And also we have got their stat, Ulster imploding. Yeah, currently Stat Francais getting momentum. But yeah, I do, like, eventually, if I was to go to South Africa, I love the idea of doing some sort of thing, how it's like going to different, like, places of subscribers. And then maybe, like, not making them do a braai, but just, like, having a braai and doing, like a comparison, like a series. I don't know. That would be kind of cool. Imagine... This is just an idea that I don't think would ever happen because it would take a lot of money and big sponsors and whatnot. But imagine a series how I go to South Africa, I go to, let's say, 10 different people's houses, TV series style, I go for a braai, and then we do a braai review, and then the winner gets some sort of like grand prize. That would be quite cool. Kind of like I don't know if it's like My Kitchen Rules. That's something that we have here in New Zealand and Australia. Some people will get that reference, some people won't. But like some sort of like a mini series of going to different places. No South African needs an excuse to braai. We braai in the rain sometimes, says Ruby. Your braai pronunciation sounds cute, says JP. And that's Pat Lamb style, says Nazi Williams. Imagine if Toulouse don't make it to the round of 16. It could happen. Although for them to lose the sale would actually be very disastrous for that Toulouse side, definitely with the players that they've picked for the home game. But now, Clermont again. We'll kick this one into touch. Currently sitting 67 minutes in. So still time remaining for Clermont to get some sort of bonus point from this game, maybe for scoring 4 tries. So it was a good team though. They are, but they haven't picked their best team. When you are as old as egg chasers, you'll be wise in the ways of travel. If it goes that way, see his cool story. And also we have got there, it is fleshed. And now looking to roll this one forward here in the maul for Clermont. And we're going to brighten my place, says Please and Tease. Any hope for Leicester? They're big underdogs, but I'd like to see them lose by less than 20. And I think that is doable for them. But if the if the Stormers are firing from the get-go, could be an ugly day at the office for the Leicester Tigers. Currently 12 minutes now left in a not straight line out from Clermont. It's just hurting them. Time after time, they're making these little mistakes. It's giving the Sharks a good chance. They are currently leading this game, the Sharks, by 23. In terms of, once again, that points differential, it means that the Sharks find themselves, hang on, that's the wrong one. We'll go like this. There we go. Sharks find themselves points differential-wise sitting minus 25. Which still means that Saracens need to lose by about 60 up against Glasgow to knock them out, or need to lose up against the Sale Sharks for the Sharks to qualify for the Champions Cup. Big break of the line there for Clermont. It was Axel Gilliard, the youngster, in the number 23 jersey. Currently the score in Ulster versus Stade Francais is 26-19. That seems like it's going to be the closer game out of the two. Another penalty awarded to Clermont. You cannot tackle... I thought I heard the ref say you cannot tackle your own player, but that doesn't sound right. What difference between Leinster and Leicester? So Leinster are from Ireland. Leicester are from... Oh, they haven't managed to find touch there. It's gone dead, in fact, for Clermont. But yeah, Leicester from England. Leicester play in the Premiership. Leinster play in the URC. So quite a few differences. And in the spelling, there's only a few differences in the letters. Sharks look better after waking their coach. And also we have got there a copy a day. Keeps the doctor away, and he was a good player as well, says Please and Tease. That one, yeah, just goes dead. Clermont looking for every extra metre that they could find, which they didn't really need to. It was going to be only maybe 5-10 metres out from the line anyway. Now scrum fed by the Sharks. Now, of course, scrums are uncontested at the moment. So it does mean that there's not a lot of excitement at the scrum department. It just means pretty much retaining the ball. And I'll be honest, if this was a closer game, I think that would work in favour of Clermont, because the Sharks wouldn't be able to use that scrum dominance as a part of their game. Now, Sia Masuku has kicked that ball dead. They will go right back to where they kicked it from, is a lamb chop, says Ruby. Second, my apologies, it's pretty late in New Zealand, says Kahu there. Oh, after sacking their coach. I was wondering what you meant. I thought you meant like they woke him up and started getting back on like a winning run. Leicester is a village outside Birmingham, says Jimbo. Currently 7 points between Ulster and Stade Francais. 2 points between Canada and Madagascar at half-time. Madagascar are beating the Canadians, ladies and gentlemen. That is something I didn't think I would say. But they're going quite well, Madagascar, to their credit. Hopefully they keep it rolling in the second half. Now rolling this one back again. Off to the right. Big low driving tackle there from the Sharks. And Sia Masuku. What time's the Stormers play, says Martin. So the Stormers, they're going to be playing in 45 minutes time. In fact, 35 minutes time. But we are going to be starting that live stream in 20 minutes. It's going to be the knock-on advantage that has now come to an end. Clermont have to retreat back, grab their ball once more. It's going to be in the hands of Loa. Why is Leinster and Leicester pretty much the same name? I don't think it's anything that they did on purpose. It's just the way that it's worked out. But yeah, there's a few differences in the letters. You know, there's an N in one of them and a C in the other. Oh, drop ball. Mistake made. Oh, it was almost a breakaway chance for the Sharks, but they'll go back again for another scrum. Uncontested, though, like I mentioned, so it will be a guaranteed ball here for the Sharks. Good attacking position on the field. Just looked away from it there, Resamone. Leadership roles are crucially important for the Sharks. Says JD, no more games this morning, Amish, just getting started. So the next game is in 20 minutes' time, and that is going to be between the Stormers and Leicester Tigers. We'll be covering that one on the channel, and then later on in the day, we've got the Sevens from about 8:30 p.m. New Zealand time, I believe it is. How confident are you for the box tour with the All Blacks? They're looking in a bit of a shambles at the moment because they don't even have a coach at this point in time. So, of course, they'll need one of those just to get them going. But, yeah, it'll be hard to beat South Africa in South Africa, like on any given day, let alone part of a tour. Sharks 35, Clermont 17. Leinster named after the House of Len, an ancient kingdom here. There's Jimbo now, breakthrough, chance here for the Sharks. Emmanuel Chichuka, he is just short of the try line, sitting 5 metres out now. Quick, swift pass on the outside. Try is scored by Sia Masuku, and it will be another one here for the Sharks side. Now 7 minutes remaining in the contest. Clermont still playing with the 14 men for another 15 seconds. So the one benefit that they have of that try is they will then get to have all of their men back out there on the field. I like and subscribe, peeps. Sees Naz Williams there. Sia Masuku slamming that ball down, scoring himself the try. A big smile on his face as well after being able to score that one, making the score 40 points to 12. So currently 28 points difference between these two sides. I'm trying to remember what my original prediction was. He's missed that one, Sia Masuku. Did I say 20 to 40 or did I say 30 to 40 points if the Sharks play well? Was that No, Stormers Leicester, I said if they won by 20, the Stormers would have done well. Can't remember what the score was. I said something to do with 40 though. But I don't think that was that the Sharks would score 40. I think it was by 40. I know they're clinging to it, but it's scary. I can't believe my eyes. The Sharkies are in a winning mood today. Well, says Ruby. Yeah, it's gone from last round of the Champions Cup. It was a pretty tough round. You said 30 to 40 plus, says Neil. I said 21 points, says Aino. I still need one more try then for the Sharks if we do get towards that scoreline. It's pretty bad when you're forgetting your own score predictions though, isn't it? Oh, knock on there from the Sharks in that breakdown. Gives Clermont the scrum 35 metres out. Haven't scored for a long time. That Durban poison can be potent. Says, how's it, my brew? And tell them to hold for me, Jimbo. And Stormers can be complacent. Leicester is a good side. Says, Kahu, they are. And I just wish they had selected Freddie Stewart, James O'Connor, and a few of those guys in the mix. Because then had they had those players, could have been pretty dangerous. I think they're half by relying on just a bit of hope, though. The Leicester Tigers with the selections that they made. Now ball's going to be fed in off the left-hand side. Oh, nice break of the tackle there for Loa in the midfield. Where he is driven backwards by Sia Masuku. Support there from Urand. Oh, rush defence there from Pepsi Butalazy. He looked like he was up a little bit too quick, but the referee does say it's fine. I need Clermont to score. Says Haino. I'm a Leinster fan living in Ulster, Haino. They'll not listen. Says Jimbo. Now, Sia Masuku considered the cross game and in the end decides to go for a little grubber in behind. Now, kick forward. That is great pace shown by Kuneni, but picked up by Clermont. And the penalty awarded there for the high shot. 4 minutes remaining between these two sides. Madagascar are now losing to Canada, 17 points to 12. The way that one sits. And currently, Ulster versus Stade Francais is 26-19. So a close game there too. Tom Raffi told that he is able to kick this one into touch. Doesn't have to wait for the referee as he is on the mark. It would be hard to play and coach two competitions at once. Says Kahu. Yeah, it's something that in rugby isn't... Well, it has been familiar, but it has been a new concept for these South African sides. Unless you count the Curry Cup, some of those coaches have been known to do a little bit of both, but... Yeah, in terms of these European sides, they are a lot more used to it. They have been playing this similar format. It's what we see in the English Premier League, how they have the FA Cup and everything along those lines alongside it too. But yeah, compared to football, I feel like the depth of some of these squads, like you need less players in a game of football and they seem to have the same size squads, if not bigger. So it does make it tricky to be able to rotate 23 players in the right format to be able to still get results. Yeah, I've got there, I want a chocolate eclair to celebrate, says Albert. They are good, depending on which ones you get. Killian, that's a hard name, eh? Says Nazi Williams. That one's going to be wrestled into touch. And now it will be the Sharks line-out. Teams sending BC teams away in this comp is destroying it. Says Fleshin. But yeah, it just comes down to the amount of pressure that's on their regular competitions, though. You know, like for instance, Clermont here. They're probably a pretty good example because at the moment in the top 14, they sit in 8th place. 36 points. If they win their next game, they have the potential of shooting right up to 3rd. So for them here, knowing that if they wanted to make it through to the Challenge Cup, they had to win this game by 12 points away from home with a bonus point. They decided it's not worth that risk when they need that next win in the top 14. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. It's the same in some regards, you know, for the Sharks team. They have played very well in this contest, but, you know, they haven't gone full strength because of the fact that they need them for next week. Well, the emphasis new scrum, please. And this is not rugby. The rest of the world's scared of scrumming, says Clint. No, it's because of Sailala Lamb taking a head knock and also because of the original hooker for the opposition getting injured. Like, it's not something you're going to see in every game. It's just the fact that because of the head knock, that is something that does allow for the uncontested scrums without losing a player. We've seen it happen a few times in the past. Not too often, though. But that is the reason behind it. But it hasn't exactly impacted the Sharks. They're still winning this game by 28 points. I would still change the format to 2 home games back-to-back, then 2 away games back-to-back. Says Hayno. Would you still end up with 2 home games where they pack their strong teams and then 2 games away from home that they don't, though? And when the Stormers playing, they are playing in less than 30 minutes' time. We are going to be starting that live stream in 13 minutes. So be sure to stick around. That's a part of sport. They must deal with it, says Tyrone. 3 minutes for Zebre, says Cross. Yeah, at the moment in that contest, they are leading 21 points to 14. And now loose ball picked up by the Sharks. It's going to be Pepsi Buthelezi in a foot race. He's just about to win it. Or as he puts in the big fend, he still scores at Pepsi Buthelezi. And that is a brilliant run from the replacement loose forward to get the Sharks over the line again. I have got there 17 points to 15 for the Stormers. Sharks winning by this margin is just crazy, says Gets now. Clermont didn't turn up in the second half, says George. Yeah, still sitting on the 12 points that they sat on at the end of the first half. Oh no. They're going right down the field to check if there was a strip there. Pepsi Buthelezi may have just run 70 metres down the field for a brilliant individual try just to have it taken off the board. The top 14 is way more important to them than Europe unless they get to the final, says Fleshin. And yeah, normally at the stage of the Champions Cup final too, certain sides know whether or not they are going to be doing well in the top 14. So if you're outside of that top about 6, then we see them really focus on the Champions and Challenge Cup. As you're going to see if it's a strip of the ball. He is on the ground at the time that ball comes out, but I think the strip may have been initiated before the grounding of him. I think Leicester can beat the Stormers, says Kahu. Right, they're showing the angle now. He attempts the strip, but I think he's still legal when he attempts the strip there. And then from there, the player drops it when he hits the ground. But there is a strip attempt. Unless being kept scoreless in the second half, or Ulster being kept scoreless. And yeah, at the moment, they can't really afford that because Stade Francais are only 7 points down. And just arrived in Wellington, says Annie. Okay, if there's an element of doubt, they'll stick with the on-field decision. Clock on the red penalties for Stade Francais. Right, so Sabale was going for the strip. They're saying that they're seeing Sabale try and hold the ball. The blue player drops it. The try will be allowed. And it will be Pepsi Buthelezi. He does get credit for it. So with that try being scored, let's just say this kick does theoretically go over. It would mean that they lead by 35 points here for the Sharks. And to be honest, they're making a little bit of nice ground. But they still sit with their points differential, even with 35 points off it. they would still sit, oh no, he missed that kick. So 33 points off. They sit with a minus 15 points differential, which means Saracens in their game up against Glasgow would have to lose by 54 points at the moment, the way that it sits, for them to be knocked down. And we have got their Zebre 28-14, so they have scored late in that game by the sounds of it. The clock is in the red for Ulster, so they should be able to finish off this game, at least once they get possession. But currently, Stade Francais have the ball, and the clock has also reached red in this contest. Nicely taken, looking into the sun there for Manuel Tichuca. I don't think the Sharks will be kicking this one into touch, will they? They'd consider going for one last attack and looking to break through. Corne Raul, the big man. We haven't seen a huge amount of him with the ball in hand, but now he's got a great break and run. Gives it off to the young halfback. Manages to just hang on to the pass. Now passed off to Gerenzo Julius with the pace. He scores it again. The Sharks bring up the 50. Update from the sevens. At the moment, Colombia are playing Hong Kong, China. We just saw the win for the Italians over Belgium. They were both men's games. But Gerenzo Julius scoring right at the end of this game, bringing up the 50 points on the board for the Sharks. It has been a strong performance. It's been an incredible second half for this side, as they have scored, I believe that is now 5 unanswered tries in the second half. South Africa forever, says Dean there. And Zebra beat the Black Lions after being 14-0 down at halftime, says George McPherson. Now, ready to line up this kick near the sideline for Sia Masuku to add the additional 2 points. Now means that the Saracens would have to lose by 40. In fact, depending on this kick, Masuku misses, so they'd have to lose by 51 points, I think it is now, if the Sharks want to qualify for the Champions Cup, or Sale Sharks have to beat to lose, a side that they are expected to lose by about 45 points to. So we'll wait and see what happens in those two games. But the next one taking place in only 8 minutes' time for that next live stream between Stormers and Leicester Tigers, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to stick around for that contest. Anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We'll keep you updated on the sevens as well. While we are at it, we do see Ulster manage to get themselves the victory up against Stade Francais, but Stade Francais getting themselves the bonus point as Hong Kong King Kong's brother, says Bruce. Is number 12 a future Bok? I think Gerenzo Julius, give him 1 or 2 years and he will be in that Springbok setup somewhere. I don't think he'll be playing as a 12 though. I think he's more than likely going to take on that 13 jersey. As Zebra won, they had to work for it against the Black Lions side, who have become a tough team to beat. And cheers, Hamish, says John. And there too. But yeah, we will see you guys in 7 minutes for that next live stream taking place between the Stormers and Leicester Tigers. And we'll see you all for the next one.